And smiles, everyone, and welcome. It's Colleen. So today we're going to continue with our journal cover that we had started in the last video, and I had sewed around all four sides with a zigzag. I used a gray thread because it blended in nicely with the cover itself. And then the inside, I added the fabric that I had showed you in the last video, but I also put cheesecloth on top of the fabric just to tone it down a little bit. It was quite bright, and I wanted it to still have a brightness, but a more subtle brightness than, if that makes sense, than what it was like without some cheesecloth. Plus, I love the texture of the cheesecloth. It is going to add to this journal. So we had made our focal point. So we're going to add that today. And I want to put some pockets in. And I can't remember, I think I showed you in the last video how I had just covered this music paper, and there's a couple of other things I want to do with these pockets. So let's put the pockets on first, then we'll put our focal point on after that. I was thinking of perhaps putting some corners on here, but I'm now have decided I'm not going to do that. I like the looks of it with just the focal point on it. And I was going to use this side as the front, but I ended up looking at this side, and I found with this flower in particular, the leaves down here, I liked it better with our focal point. So we're going to use this side instead. So first, I want to put our pockets into the inside cover, is what I would like to do. So I'm going to have to slightly cut them, I see, because they're going to end up overlapping on each other, and I don't want to do that. So we're going to just cut a smidgen off, and then I want to decorate them a little bit or something. I had gotten this, I had chose some lace that I think I will put through the book if I use lace. And I'm liking how that looks on top of this. So I'm thinking I'm going to add some lace to it. But first, let's just trim them down slightly each side, and hopefully they'll cut all right with the cheesecloth on it. It hopefully will just slice through. I'm just trying to decide how much I want off. I don't want a huge amount. Maybe we'll start with 1/8 of an inch, and then we will go to 1/4 if I find, we'll take another 1/8 off if I find this is not enough off. So that is hopefully, oh yeah, it's gonna come through it just fine. I'm just going to trim some of the strings here that are holding it on, and we'll take those off. So let's just check. Yeah, I think 1/8 is going to work just fine by the looks of it. I'm just going to trim this a little bit better. Okay, so we'll take 1/8 off this one as well as we did the other one. This one is not cutting through quite as good as the other one did, but that's okay. We can just use our scissors. It's just a few tiny threads on the cheesecloth. Do not want to be cut through with the guillotine. Okay, so let's just put this aside, make sure it is what we want. Yeah, I think that's going to work great. Just taking that little bit off because I wanted to sort of put it where the thread was coming down, just inside that thread. So let's do some lace on here. As I was looking at it, I was cutting it, I'm thinking I might want lace over top of all of it. Like, I'm really liking this lace on top of this cheesecloth. So what I thought I might do, I'm going to put it across here and across here for sure. Then we'll see, and I might just cover the whole thing and put a piece in the middle. So I'm just going to cut this right about there. Should work just fine. So I'm going to cut another piece too, the same length for the bottom. If I can line this up okay. That's pretty close, so we'll just go here. You can always trim it up if it's a little too long. So I went to the store the other day, so I got some of the Fusion, what is it called? Fabric Fusion, sorry. And lo and behold, I was at the Walmart and they had those Sugar Belle, 2 of them, a package of 2 of those Sugar Belle bottles. So I picked them up because they were very reasonable there. I think perhaps $7. It was 6 something was the price. And I know that was cheaper than what I've seen them on Amazon. And I know a lot of people use this with Fabri-Tac, so I thought I might as well get these bottles for my Fabric Fusion. And I'm noticing that it is, I might have to keep a pin in it because it needed a little bit of start there. So what is it doing? It's like it's plugged up in there, and it shouldn't be by what I seen on the how people are using these, and they like the lid because of the non-stickness. There we go, I think. I should have had it capped, I guess, maybe. There we go, and it's there. Now we got it. So I learned already that I need to keep a pin in this for it to stay open. So lesson learned. I do like the how it comes out of the bottle, the thinness of the line. I do like that. Okay, so we'll just put that there, and then we'll put this one on the bottom, and we could leave it like that, or I might put a strip in the middle. We'll get this one on there, and then I think what I'll do is I'll cut another one, because I think it would be the same for this other pocket. We're doing 2 pockets, yeah. And it's the same size as this one. So if we decide to just keep 2, I'm thinking I want to maybe just keep the lace on this, keep the pockets simple, as in there's a lot going on with the colors and stuff. So I'm thinking I just want to put this lace on the cover, on the pockets, and that'll be enough decorating. I'm just going to cut another one of these while I'm at it. And this lace was a lovely color to use in this particular journal. And it was lace I got off of Temu that was very reasonably priced. And because it was under $1, and I think you get at least 5 yards, I ended up getting a few colors. And this, I think it was like 89 cents. Something, a crazy good deal anyway. So I did end up getting a few colors of it, because why not? And then it turned out this color was great for this journal. I'm going to work on opening this a little bit better, and I'll do that in a little while. Because I did not put the pin in there, I want to just open it up fully and get a pin in there that stays in there. Okay, so that's pretty nice. I do like that. But what would it be like if we put another piece, like cover it all? Oh yeah, let's cover it all. I really like how that looks, and it layers over the two that we already have on there, and I like that. Yeah, definitely that will work really well for these pockets. So I hope everyone is having a lovely day, and perhaps crafting along with me, which would be wonderful. I find it's always a good day when we get a chance to do a little bit of why is that? Well, this might not be as good a thought as I hoped it would be, because I seem to be struggling a little bit with this. We will I think what I'm going to do is wash out the top of this, and then start with the pin inside to keep it open, because it keeps plugging. So there's got to be something in there that's causing that I cannot. It might be at the very bottom, so that it's preventing it from coming up right now, because I didn't have that pin in there. Oh, there's a piece come out. Maybe that was it. I am starting to get a little frustrated, so I might end up, I'll just use my, there we go. Now I got it. Whew, and I got a lot out there. Yeah, because I was squeezing so hard. But yeah, maybe that was that. Yeah, it must have been that little bit was that I just showed you had got stuck, and I finally got it out. Okay, all right, we'll put the pin back in between when we're doing this, just so we're sure to keep it open. Hopefully it is all an experiment at this time for me, because I have not used these bottles before, but I have heard nothing but good things about it, so I thought I'd give them a try. Okay, I like that. So we're just going to do the same thing to this pocket is what we're going to do, and then we'll add it into our book, our cover, and then we can put our focal point on. one more. Yeah, I like this lace on there. It just is perfect for this. Yeah, I'm liking it a lot. Okay, so I'm just going to go all over the pocket and get these laid on there. Now I tend to be squeezing a little more than I need to, I think, because I was struggling, so I gotta ease up. The thing about these bottles is they're so easy to squeeze. They're nice, soft, supple, and you do not have to put a lot of pressure. I think anybody that has trouble with their hands, arthritis or whatever, would really enjoy having these bottles. For any type of glue, really, I suppose it would work with. Maybe I'll take my other one and try some tacky glue in it, although I do love my bottle that I already have for that. This one here that sits down on the desk like that. I really like it because it keeps the glue ready to go at all times, because the nozzle is downwards. Okay, so we'll just get this laid on there. Now this will take a few minutes to dry, the glue. That the Fabric Fusion does take some time to dry. That's the difference I found between it and Fabri-Tac. Fabri-Tac almost is a more instant drying than the Fabric Fusion, but I was finding it very frustrating because I ended up using it. I couldn't get it all out of the bottle. I just didn't like the bottle that it came in at all. So perhaps I will try it in one of these bottles when I get some. But I had just gotten this Fabric Fusion, so I'm going to use up that first. Okay, so let's get these glued in here and go from there. All right, so I'm just going to put the glue, I think, well, we'll go along the pocket is what I'm going to do, I think would be the best way to do this. So I'll just get my glue book and we'll put some glue along the 3 edges. Try not to squeeze too hard, because I don't need it. Don't want to have glob come out. Yeah, I'm getting used to it now. That I just can't get over how easy these bottles are to squeeze. It's quite amazing, actually. That's why I might put some tacky glue in my other one and see how well that works, because this is a little bit tougher to squeeze. It's not crazy tough, but it is tougher than that. The Sugar Belle. I was just so shocked to see those in my local Walmart, and they were in the bakery supply, but still in the craft area. Well, no, maybe they were with the oh, what is that people do, the pouring paint stuff. I can't remember the proper name for it at this moment, but a lot of people are enjoying doing that pouring, and I think it was in the section with that section somewhere around there. Anyway, did I put that on the right way? Yeah. Okay, so we'll just get this one on there and then we can just leave it to dry for a while. And we'll put our focal point on. And then what I wanted to show you is I had mentioned before I was going to kind of show you what I put into a project box when I'm doing a project, how I go about that. I was going to just show you how I use a project box, and give you a little bit of an idea. And I use it throughout the project because sometimes something else will come to me and I will add to the box. And the other thing is that I use it, but I'm not necessarily going to use everything I put in the box. But I may use it. It all depends as I'm going along what I want, what might work, what I'll end up using, but then I don't have to go searching throughout my craft room each time I'm doing something different, because I have my project box and I have things in the project box that I will use, and it helps scale down. I think I need to put a little more glue on there. Helps to scale down so you don't get overwhelmed. The choices too, right? Now, it won't be always just whatever is in the project box is the only thing I'll use, because stickers and things like that I don't usually always put in my project box. The butterflies, the whip birds and such, and words, because I have that sitting right beside me in one of my cards. I keep that type of stuff, so it's always right beside me, so I don't need to be putting that into my project box. I can just reach it easily. Oh, let's get our pin in. I think I'm going to use a different pin than that one. I think I'll use this one. It's a little bit thicker pin, and I'm sure it's stainless steel too. It better be. I do have some stainless steel that I know for sure over here. Maybe that's what I should do right now, is I will put one of these in here instead of that, because I'm not absolutely positive that that's stainless steel, but these ones for sure are. So I'm going to use one of these instead. I'll put the green one in. Okay, there we go. And if that doesn't end up being a big enough pin, I will try that other one. All right, there. Okay, so now I'm just going to let this dry, but I'm going to put our focal point on first, and then I'll set it aside to dry. So basically I am just going to add it right about there. I don't want to cover that flower at the bottom at all. I think it looks good right there for sure. Now, I was going to tell you, with the napkin that we had used, and I had to use the Mod Podge method, where I put the Mod Podge on, let it dry, and then I ironed the napkin on. Now, this napkin did end up wrinkling, which was fine with me because I liked the texture. But the thing that I was going to point out to you was, if you want your napkin to be completely no flat, no texture, no wrinkles at all, I suggest, because what I believe it is my craft iron, my little craft iron, I don't think gets as hot as my normal sized iron. And I usually, when I'm doing those projects, I use my full iron. And if you're afraid that you may get something on your iron because you use it with your clothing too, just make sure to use parchment paper. You should always use parchment paper if you're doing a project like that, regardless of the iron you're using, just to make sure that you protect the iron. And like I used that netting that I had gotten, and it works wonderfully in all kinds of ways when I'm ironing things. But if I'm going to use my big iron and do this, I might perhaps use a parchment paper just to be extra safe. But what I found, and why this ended up I got wrinkles, is because that little iron does not get as hot as my big iron, and it caused it not to be glued as tightly down. So when I went to put the Mod Podge on top, it wrinkled. And with the Mod Podge going on top, I had done it right away, and lots of times I will let it sit and dry a little more before I even put the Mod Podge for protection on top. I work on something else, but I wanted to do it all at once because we were on camera. So I guess my thing is, what I'm trying to say is, make sure your iron is really hot, the hottest setting you can get on your iron, no steam, to use to put the napkin on, because that's what is going to melt all the Mod Podge and secure your napkin really, really well. Okay, there we go. I used tacky glue. I think that might be enough, but because I have this, well, no, this isn't fabric. I'm just wanting to use this new bottle. That's what it is. Okay, this will be just fine. The tacky glue is going to work really well. So we'll just put that down just like that. Yeah, that's going to be so pretty. I know the person that would like this journal. I think she'll love this focal point on there. It's actually for Christmas. She has asked me to make a few journals for gifts of her siblings, and I find that so exciting. I'm so happy for them. And yeah, so these are my Christmas projects this year. Okay, and those are lovely. I think they look really nice in there. So all of this has got to dry a bit, right? So I'm just going to set this aside to get all dried up before we move on to the next steps. And in the meantime, I just wanted to quickly show you, before we end this video, is what my project boxes are like. So this is this is the project box for this particular journal, and they don't always have to be these boxes. I just happen to have one of these. I had gotten, I think, from Dollarama, and it had a lid on it, so I really like that. Excuse me, I'm just going to take a sip of coffee real quick. So inside this box is what I will perhaps put into the journal, use in the journal. So the first thing is I have some, with this particular journal, I'm going to use these papers in it. And that's the first thing that I put in here, is some focal images that I wanted to use. They're very much related to music and such, that I wanted to use throughout the journal. So I ran these off. I might make a set of these and put them in my store when I can get that open. I've been so busy lately that I had to put that on the back burner for now. But I ran these off, and then I just took some coffee spray and I sprayed the backs because they were pretty bright white. So that's what I'm going to use throughout the book. These for sure will be used. Then what I had these papers, these music, all these different kinds of music papers. So I just stuck this whole thing in there, and I might perhaps use it to make some ephemera in this book. So I just stick things like that in that I'm going maybe using on some ephemera. So I always go through my little papers and see what I have. And I had these ones too. They're Shakespearean type manuscript, that is. And then this is a Beethoven score. So I thought this might work really well in this journal. Then these stickers here, these are doll, and the reason I put these in is I have them in a different section than I do like my birds and things that I keep in binders. And these music, all this music, this is what we used on the cover. So I just stuck some different kind, what I did have. I love this, so I may end up using that. And then this one is very similar, just has some different instruments. So again, like I said, may use, may not is what is in here, but there's things I'm definitely going to use are in here too, right? So this is what a project box is all about. Then I had these stamps, and so what I'll do is I usually will go through my stamps and see if there's any that potentially I might use in a book. So I put those in the project box so they're on hand. And then also, if I have dies that I think I might use, for instance, this little die here, this music note die, I may end up using. So, and same as this cute little one. It's a little harder to see because it's black. But those are the two dies on this sheet that potentially I may use, cut out something with them. So I put those in. So these are the type of things that I'm always putting inside all of my project boxes, like the, like I said, the stamps and the dies that relate. I may use and I may not, but they're in my box, so they're handy. And then something like this that I know I definitely am going to use are in my project box. And then all these papers, of course, these little papers. I always go through my little papers and see if there's any that relate to the journal I may be doing. And I'll stick them in there. Whether I use them or not is remains to be seen, right? So then the other thing that I see, and these I had made long time ago, and I had these left over, so I just threw them in there because they're all music related. So they are inside the box too. And then I always go through washi tape, and I'll pull out some washi tape that is perhaps relates into the journal that I'm doing. And again, I may use it, I may not, but I have it really handy if I want to use it. So that's what those are. And I had quite a few music type things. These are very playful. I don't know if they'll work in this particular journal, but we'll see. And then these were some, I'm definitely going to use some of these. These are music note paper clips. Aren't those adorable? And I had found those, I think, on Temu again. So I think there's like 20 of them in here or something. Yeah, 20 of them. But I'm definitely going to use them in this journal because it's music related. But these paper clips are going to be wonderful in all kinds of journals. They don't have to be music, only music related journals. So, oh, and here was another thing that, again, it's papers. Love the owl. So I also put in these stamps. There's some owl stamps on this washi tape that I may use if I end up using this owl paper. I'm not sure yet. I don't know how I had this in here that it wasn't, I think I had these going this way. so I had more room. And then these napkins, I threw in a couple of napkins. This one, of course, explains itself. It's music that I may want to use in. So I go through my napkins too and see if there's any that I might want to use in a book. And then my embossing folders. Not all my books would I use an embossing folder in, but when I have an embossing folder such as this that is so relatable to the book, I throw it in here because, again, I'll probably use that. I had this envelope, and I think it was just close by, and I thought it was so pretty, and I thought, oh, I might use that in this journal, so I threw it in here. So, and then these were just some images I had that I ran off at some point, and they all relate to music to me and go so well with the theme of these papers and the colors that I thought they'd be perfect in this book. So I'm going to use those as journaling cards. And then I have these fabric pockets that I thought might go really nice in this book. I just threw these in there to see if I wanted to use them. And of course I will decorate them quite a bit from this. And these two in particular, and this one, I guess. Well, most of them, the colors attracted me to these two in particular. And, you know, the pockets can go in like a regular pocket, or we could do a side tuck with these, because this one here, love the color, and it's measuring tape on there, and I think that would look wonderful as a side tuck. So those are the types of things that I throw. Oh, and I always usually go through with my lace too, and I pick one or two laces that I feel would look nice in the journal that I'm doing. So I always have that available also in my project box, because I do like to use lace and fabric and stuff. And again, like I said, this isn't perhaps all that I'll use in my book, but it gives me a really, really good start. And when I get on a roll and I'm making something, it's all handy. So that is how I use a project box. I hope that was helpful for you, that you have got some ideas of what you might want to put in a project box. If there is anything that I hadn't mentioned that I put in my project box that you would recommend that would be wonderful to put in a project box, please let me know in the comments below, because I am always looking for new ideas and such, and I would love to hear your guys' ideas. So anyway, I hope you all have a lovely, lovely day. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It'll help my channel grow. And don't forget that notification bell. You press that, it'll let you know when I'm putting up a new video. And here is our journal cover. I think it turned out so, so nice. And look at the inside. Those colors are going to match with our papers. The colors here match with the paper so nicely. So I'm very pleased with how this cover has turned out. And so the next is we'll just move right into making the rest of the journal. So I want you all, again, to have a lovely day and a crafty kind of day. And we will see and talk to you soon. Bye for now.